Greater Media Broadcast News.
Welcome to another edition of Greater Media Broadcast News. I'm Susie Shea, bringing you the top headlines in Central New Jersey. Here's some of the stories we're covering this week. The season of Christmas trees, flood insurance payouts, medicinal marijuana center opens, enhancing pedestrian safety, and changes to pay-to-play laws. 'Tis the season once again, and that means big business for those who grow and sell Christmas trees. In fact, business may be even bigger than you think, as New Jersey is ranked 6th in the nation in the number of Christmas tree growers. More than 1,000 farms produce the pines, firs, and spruces that will be trimmed and showcased in living rooms this holiday season. For consumers seeking a high-quality tree, experts in the field have a bit of advice. While some point to choose and cut farms as the best option for freshness and longevity, others say it comes down to choosing the right variety. A recent survey reveals that the most popular species in New Jersey are the Douglas fir and blue spruce. For more about local Christmas tree farms, see this week's editions of Greater Media newspapers. And here's Mark Rosman with more headlines from this week's papers.
The news transcript features an article this week about Franco Minervini, a resident of Marlborough who is a stone carver and sculptor. We've had articles in the past about Mr. Minervini, and this week's article features his latest endeavor. He was commissioned by Temple University to come up with a work of art that will go in front of the School of Business. He's carving a Temple owl, which is the mascot of Temple University, and the process he uses is described in this week's news transcript article. It's quite a fascinating look at a local artisan and a man who takes things out of stone where sculptors put things in. Mr. Minervini works in a special way and creates lasting works of art.
A North Brunswick resident has explored the meaning of good deeds, even venturing to South Africa, home of the late Nelson Mandela. Here's Kathy Chang.
Jonathan Verpente's journey to complete 30 deeds in the year leading up to his 30th birthday took him all over the tri-state area and across the world. His last deed before his 30th birthday was a once-in-a-lifetime trip with projects abroad to Cape Town, South Africa, where he spent 2 weeks in August helping to build a community center in an underprivileged area. Verpente, who stayed with a local host family, chronicled his 13 days in Cape Town, from the culture shock of the first few days to feeling right at home by the end of the trip. During the weekend, he and the other volunteers were able to take in the sights around Cape Town. He traveled to Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela spent 18 years imprisoned under harsh conditions for his fight against apartheid government. Mandela, who later became South Africa's first black president, died December 5th at the age of 95. Verpente said it was amazing that a man who spent a large portion of his life behind bars was able to get out and become an instrumental piece in the resurrection of South Africa. For more information, visit www.gmnews.com.
And here's a roundup of headlines from this week's papers. Long Branch is moving forward on design work for rebuilding its boardwalk and protective bluff, which were destroyed by Superstorm Sandy. The city is awaiting word on FEMA funding for the project, but officials say construction of the new boardwalk may be delayed until after the 2014 beach season. Monmouth County towns may start receiving partial flood insurance payments in early 2014, but officials say those payouts could be as little as 50 cents on the dollar. Payments were halted early this year when flood losses exceeded the policy limit of the Municipal Excess Liability Fund. That limit was $50 million. The third medicinal marijuana facility in New Jersey is open for business in Woodbridge. Garden State Dispensary celebrated its grand opening last week, and 1,500 patients have been registered so far. Middlesex County will receive $27 million in state funding to support almost 150 school construction projects. These will occur in 21 school districts. For a list of schools in your county and for more details on any of these stories, see your Greater Media newspaper today.
I was at work when my family was evacuated. I got my family to a safe place and headed back to work. My house was flooded. It was bad, but we were lucky.
1 year later, cleanup is still underway. Our crews have been working here every day, setting new poles, running new lines, and installing meters as homes pass inspection.
We're committed to restoring and re-energizing the Jersey Shore.
And here's Mike Pavlichko of Greater Media's WCTC with an update on Rutgers football. After that, we have Tim Morris with more on local sports.
Well, the Rutgers football team is going to join the Big Ten next season without ever having made a BCS bowl game, and they may have missed their best chance yet. But this year's situation, certainly not that bad. It may, in fact, be their biggest and most important bowl game ever, and certainly is their biggest marquee matchup. I'm talking about the fact that if you don't know by now, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights have accepted an invitation to the Pinstripe Bowl in the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, December 28th. They were there a couple of years ago, but they're going to play the same exact team I said in this chair a couple of weeks ago that they very well could play, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And if you told me before the season that Rutgers would be playing Notre Dame in a bowl game, I'd be pretty excited. Now, I also would have thought they'd have had a fantastic season. Of course, we all know they didn't. They really stumbled in a massive way the second half of the year. They finished 6-6. They had to beat a god-awful South Florida team to get to a bowl game, but they did. Credit to Chase Dodd and company for getting that win against South Florida on a cold night at High Point Solution Stadium. And we all know the Irish aren't what they were last year. They're coming off a national championship game appearance against Alabama. They're only 8-4 this year, only 2 wins different from Rutgers this year. But throw out the records for a moment and forget about what could happen if Rutgers does beat Notre Dame in this bowl game. Forget about the results. Just the fact that they're playing Notre Dame, going to be the best 2.5 weeks of publicity the Scarlet Knights have gotten since, well, probably since they announced they would join the Big Ten, and that was a while ago. There's been a lot of scandal, a lot of controversy since then around not only football, basketball, the athletic department. All that goes aside for the next couple of weeks, and the focus is on Rutgers playing Notre Dame, a national team, a team with such mystique about them. And that's got to be pretty exciting for Rutgers fans. Now you consider if Rutgers wins that game, boy, that would be an amazing springboard into the Big Ten. So I know it's only the Pinstripe Bowl, but it's Notre Dame, a chance to win and go into the Big Ten with a victory over Notre Dame. I'll take it. I'm Mike Pavlichko on 1450 WCTC and WCTCAM.com.
Dynasty is a word tossed about frequently when the subject of winning teams in sports comes up. If there is a team that fits that definition, it is the Howell High School girls bowling team, led by head coach Dave Clampfer. They have won 12 short conference division titles in the last 13 years, including the last 4 in a row. And they are in first place again this year with an 8-1 mark. Their one-loss record since the end of the 2011 season is an unworldly 99-1. The Rebel girls have won the last 4 Monmouth County championships and the last 2 NJSIAA Central Jersey Group 4 tournaments. Over the years, they've been the Tournament of Champions winners as well. How have they been able to maintain this dominance? Through dedication to the sport and hard work, as well as team chemistry and camaraderie. And of course, it doesn't hurt to throw strikes. After strike. This is Tim Morris for Greater Media Newspapers.
Whoever said pig kissing contests can't end well never met Eddy. Here's Amy Rosen.
Meet Edison Hamlet, or Eddy for short. A month ago, this Vietnamese pot-bellied piglet had no home and no name. But now, thanks to the folks at Triple C Ranch in Edison, run by the Edison Wetlands Association, Eddy is happily residing at the ranch and making friends with his new buddies, who are happy to have him there. Eddy ended up at Triple C Ranch as a result of a pig-kissing event that the Edison High School School Council had planned for a pep rally in the fall.
No more. They were raising money for a teacher, and the teacher who raised the most money in the jug had to kiss the pig at the pep rally. So the day before the pep rally, they were supposed to rent it from Rutgers, and Rutgers called and said, we can't rent you the pig anymore. So they had to go find a pig the day before the pep rally. So in their eyes, the best way to do was to buy one from a farm. And so they bought it without any thought of where it would go as a home afterwards. And then they called us to see if we were interested in adopting it because they wanted to keep it local so that the kids could come back and visit the pig.
Triple C Ranch takes in animals that have no place else to go. And now they've taken in Eddy. They held a contest to name him, and Mutt's comic strips partnered with them in the contest and will use Eddy's story in one of their comic strips. To help offset the cost of taking care of the animals at CCC, they ask the public to partner with them in a Save a Friend program, where they can virtually adopt an animal and help pay for its care.
Anybody that wants to adopt an animal just chooses an animal and makes a donation, and they'll get a picture of the animal and a letter, and they can come visit and say hello to their animals. People can go to CCCranch.org and find out more about our Save a Friend program. We use them in an educational way, and we also provide them with a very loving home, as you can see.
Do you like your new home?
This is Amy Rosen for Greater Media Newspapers.
Two Monmouth County towns are changing their pay-to-play laws. Here's Keith Humiller.
Two towns in Monmouth County are considering scaling back their local pay-to-play laws and replacing them with state regulations. The governing bodies of Red Bank and Marlborough have introduced ordinances that would eliminate some long-standing local requirements in favor of state regulations enacted in 2007. Officials in both towns say the change will help eliminate confusion, as multiple sets of laws have made it difficult for developers, businesses, and other campaign contributors to know exactly what the rules are in recent years. The Monmouth County freeholders approved a similar change last year, sparking criticism from some residents who said state regulations are less restrictive than local laws being repealed. In this week's Hub newspaper, we take a look at how Red Bank's laws could change under the new regulations, and we talk to local officials about the potential benefits and drawbacks.
Metuchen officials are looking at ways to enhance pedestrian safety in the borough. Jessica D'Amico has the details.
Metuchen officials are taking more steps toward pedestrian safety after a November 21st accident claimed the life of a 75-year-old borough resident as he was crossing the street. Already known for its pedestrian safety initiatives, which include brightly colored flags for pedestrians to wave as they cross at two intersections, as well as beacons with flashing lights, Metuchen will soon incorporate additional safeguards, including an electronic message board, as well as more flags, lights, and signs. Borough Police also plan to launch an education campaign among seniors and students in town. Last month's fatal accident was the second of its kind in Metuchen in recent years. An 85-year-old Edison woman was struck and killed while crossing the street in 2011. Back to you, Susie.
Those who use the Henry Hudson Trail will be happy to hear that parts of the area may reopen this month. Nicole Antonucci has the story.
Area walkers, runners, and bicyclists who frequent the Henry Hudson Trail will be able to tour its most northern section by the end of the year. The 1.5-mile section of the trail between Papamora Point in the Highlands and the Municipal Marina in Atlantic Highlands was rendered unpassable by Superstorm Sandy. The Monmouth County Park System has been working to remove debris and remnants from trail structures destroyed by the storm since October. The Highlands section is the last section of the Henry Hudson Trail to be repaired due to delays from FEMA and insurance carriers, a potential lawsuit, and the amount of debris that needed to be cleared. The trail is expected to reopen by mid-December. Park system officials say only basic repairs have been done, and visitors should not expect the trail to look the same as it once did. To read more about the repairs, visit gmnews.com.
For more in-depth coverage and additional stories, pick up your Greater Media newspaper today. This is Susie Shea. Thanks for tuning in.